Welcome to the Brothers Sinatra podcast, the only podcast featuring two swinging brothers talking about movies. I'm Jack Sinatra.
And I'm Tyler Sinatra.
And we're the Brothers Sinatra. We're going to have to work on lining that up remotely, okay?
There's a delay.
It's the first remote opportunity that we've had to do this. You see, I'm at Mama's house. I don't know where you're at.
I'm at my brother's apartment. Well, it's
brother's
like
apartment.
Not my brother. It's like the brother's apartment. You know how like the Ghostbusters have like the Ghostbusters, like the firehouse?
Yeah.
This is like our base of operations.
Yeah, but I much prefer it at Mama's house, okay? I get all the home cooking here, all of that
he's
stuff.
He's a mama's boy. Folks, he's a mama's boy.
Now listen, Tyler. You think I'm going to jack this rip? I just got a Crime Stopper tip about a stash house, but let's keep it a bean and none of that pushy cop stuff, okay? Because I'm still having pastel flashbacks about my dead police captain lover. So bring your money-sniffing dog, and let's live to see another sunrise, because today, we're talking about the rip.
Wilbur, no!
Now, everybody, you can listen on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Turns out it's pretty easy to distribute it once you have that kind of primary feed. So I've been cooking up that RSS business, and so now it's on Amazon, it's on a bunch of different places, okay? So it's not just Spotify, but I think Spotify is still the best place to see it.
Is it on the Apple Music podcasts, Jackie?
Yeah, it's on the Apple Podcasts. It's on a bunch of them that I've never heard before until I was putting it out there. So go ahead and listen on all of those different platforms. But, you know, I'll be listening on Spotify when I'm going and making sure I didn't make any errors in the process.
Yeah,
you can follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. All right? We're getting out there. We're getting out there on the social medias.
Oh, we're really in there, out there.
We're in there and out there. We're all over the place, if I'm honest with you, okay? We got some upcoming shows. Honest. Tyler, what are the upcoming shows? You got them?
Oh, Jackie, I've got them. We've got Saturday. It's going to be February 7th at Roxy Lockport, 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to be two swinging brothers. You should check out buying tickets online.
Yep, right now it's 25% off, okay? 25% off till the end of the month, okay?
Sale.
At the end of the month, they're not going to be on sale no more.
Now, we got another gig, Jackie. It's going to be Friday. It's February the 13th. This is a pre-Valentine's, but Valentine's dinner at Colvin House, and that's from 6:30 to 8:30, Jackie. We got another one on the real day.
The real
Saturday,
Valentine's Day.
The real Valentine's Day, February 14th, Valentine's Day special at the Vault. Our friends at the Vault bring us back every month, and we're coming in for Valentine's Day.
Oh, we're coming in hot and heavy for that Valentine's Day special at the Vault, baby. You may have heard last week that we were going to Riverlands Brewing Company. No.
Oh,
okay?
No.
That's right out.
There.
We're not going there anymore, okay? We switched it. We said we need to get locked in for Valentine's Day. We're going to the Vault instead, all right?
Scratch that. Reverse it. Wait, no. That's a different movie. We should get to the movie.
Let's get to the movie, Tyler. So this is our second edition of Sinatra Streams. We're talking about The Rip, directed by Joe Carnahan. Have you seen any other Joe Carnahan films?
Oh, yeah, Jackie. He had that Bradley Cooper feature, The A-Team. You know, back in the day before he was that big Silver Lining Playbook guy. Yeah. Before then, he was in that A-Team movie. And he also did that movie, the director, Joe, he did that Smokin' Aces movie.
Smokin' Aces and A-Team, that's what I had written down as well. He's also had a couple of other ones through the years, but those are the two that kind of stuck out to me.
And if you're into Liam Neeson's, you could check out The Gray.
The Gray.
That's another movie.
Yes.
That's another movie.
I recognize that title, haven't seen it myself yet.
Yeah.
So let's talk about The Rip. It's starring Matt Damon, okay, as Lieutenant Dane Dumas. Dane Dumas, what a name. Ben Affleck as Detective Sergeant J.D. Byrne, all right? Stephen Yeun as Detective Mike Rowe. Tiana Taylor, Detective Numa Baptiste. Sasha Calle as Desiree Desi Molina. Catalina Sandina Moreno as Detective Lolo Salazar. Scott Adkins as FBI Agent Del Byrne. And Kyle Chandler as DEA Agent Mateo Matty Nix. So we got a loaded cast. Okay,
loaded cast.
Lots of folks. And Tiana Taylor, I mean, my goodness, she just got that Golden Globe Award for one battle after another, so she's just popping up all over the place.
It's true, Jackie. And then you got the Batfleck. You got the Batfleck with his old friend, Matt Damon's. Oh, how are you going to get a janitor genius and Batman together for a police film, Jackie? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, and you know, they're in a lot of different divisions. There are a lot of acronyms that we'll have to go through as we kind of, you know, determine their place in the department. We're
going to cover a lot of bases.
So there are a lot of other cameos. I don't need to rattle through all of them, but in particular,
Jackie, I do have to make a comment on the cameo section.
Okay.
I was under the impression that I don't want to disparage any of these actors, but I was under the impression a cameo needed to be a recognizable actor.
There's one that was recognizable to me.
Yeah, there was. I was gonna say this list has more than one, and yet I only recognized the one guy from Lost, Nestor Carbonell. And also, I thought it was funny because he was also playing the mayor in this, and he was playing the mayor.
He was the major.
Christopher Nolan.
The major in this.
The major?
He was the major of the police department. He's not the mayor, but he was the mayor in The Dark Knight.
In The Dark Knight. I was
That's
like,
what I knew him from.
See, to me, same role. He just looked like he was doing the same thing.
You know, he's always a mayor or a major. There's not a lot of in between with Nesta.
There's only
that's why I wasn't gonna rattle through everything, because you're exactly right. That's the only one that I really recognize. That's the only like cameo. To be frank, and I always want to be frank, I copied and pasted those cameos from the Wikipedia page of just other actors who weren't starring. I think it was a little heavy-handed to say that all 7 of the people or so up above were starring, but they're all kind of major actors, so you could make the case. So I see where they're coming from.
I would also say that all of them are important to the story, like without any single one of the characters.
Sure.
Yeah,
some more than others. There's definitely, you know, some folks that really kind of carried the day, but we'll get into all of that. So this came out on Netflix on the 16th of this month, 16th of January, 2026. The current Rotten Tomatoes, when I looked this morning, was 81% critic score and a 64% audience score. So the critics are digging it a little bit more than the people. I'm not sure if there was any sort of review bombing for any reason. You never know, because, you know, people don't like the police sometimes.
Jackie. Oh, sometimes.
People don't like the police. People don't like, you know, certain people in certain facets of society. So I'm not aware of any kind of a review bombing, but there is that difference, whereas People We Meet on Vacation last week was very much in line. It was about 75% both ways. Okay?
Yeah. Consistent.
So this movie was inspired by a true story. It starts out and it says this was based on a true story. So it was based on this real cash seizure by Miami-Dade County Sheriff Chris Cassiano. We'll get into what was actually part of that true story later on.
I was going to say, Jackie, when I read about what actually happened, I was like, huh.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, you made a move?
We'll get into it, but first, we've got to just put it out there. We're about to spoil The Rip, okay?
Uh-oh. Get ready. If you haven't
heard anybody talk about The Rip, if you haven't seen it with your own 2 eyes, heard it with your own 2 ears, we're about to spoil it. We're going to
we're spoiling.
Rip it right out of your hands and spoil it for you, okay?
Get out of here if you haven't.
We're spoiling it. It's a spoiler.
We're going to spoil it. Spoiler.
We're spoiling it.
It's a spoiler.
I'm sorry. Did you not want 2 brothers to spoil The Rip for you?
I'm sorry. Then why did you start listening to this podcast?
All right. So we are about to do our Sinatra Summaries. And as you well know, this is where I give a fairly elaborate, detailed summary, several paragraphs, followed by Tyler giving the, haiku version of the same material.
I do not like when you call it the haiku version, Jackie. I think mine's short, succinct, and what everybody needs to know, and you're long-winded and boring.
Well, we'll let the audience decide. But to be honest with you, there were so many little details in this film, even coming up with a detailed summary and trying to step through everything. There's a lot I had to leave out. So we're going to chop it all up as we go forward. Movie. There's a lot of little things, Tyler. You gotta go in with your magnifying glass, okay?
Nope.
So here we go. Lieutenant Dane Dumas, Detective Sergeant J.D. Byrne, and other members of the Miami-Dade PD's Tactical Narcotics Team are all interviewed by the FBI and Internal Affairs, I think, about the murder of TNT Captain Jackie Velez due to strong suspicions of an inside job. Unfortunately, the Violent Crime Action Team, or VCAT, was recently disbanded due to controversy, which we don't know about. So the investigation is still at a standstill. The team pleads innocence, and Byrne fights with his FBI agent brother after it's revealed that he and Captain Velez were lovers. After a team hang, Dumas convinces TNT to join him on an after-hours cash seizure operation based on a Crime Stopper tip, and he tells each of them a different total amount between $75 and $300K. Oh, that's weird. Is Dumas dirty? TNT arrives at the stash house with Wilbur, a heroic, cash-sniffing dog, and quickly they trick the occupant, Desi, into signing a consent form to allow them inside. Wilbur quickly finds the cash in a pristine attic, and turns out there's over $20 million there. Dumas starts acting weird. He just makes the hair stand up on the back of the neck of Sergeant Byrne and Detective Rowe, but alas, they set out to count the money on site, as is procedure. After some mysterious, threatening phone calls, Rowe stands guard outside and Byrne investigates some strange porch light signals at the far end of the street. Dumas openly talks about stealing the money with detectives Baptiste and Salazar in earshot of Desi, who quickly tells Rowe about Dumas' plan to steal the money, and Rowe uses a burner phone to try and bring in backup while Dumas tries to find Byrne across the street checking out the porch thing. With seemingly all forces converging on the house, the garage is soon shot up Dillinger style by a mystery party, which we quickly find out is not the cartel after a ninja parkour shootout and quick FaceTime with a Colombian boss. Back in the garage, accusations abound, and Dumas and Byrne have a big fight. Nevertheless, they get a final count, but have to get out quick because Rowe set a fire to prevent Dumas stealing the money, I guess. As everyone escapes the burning house, Nix arrives, the DEA agent, in an armored truck, and seems to, he wants to prevent any funny business. The heavy bags are loaded into the back of the truck, along with Dumas, Byrne, and Rowe, and the standoff commences. Here, it is finally revealed that Dumas received a text from Captain Velez right before she was killed about the stash house because she was zeroing in on dirty cops stealing money and was going to use it to draw them out, something Byrne has known about for about half the movie, as we find out here. Dumas fed his team different numbers to find out which one was dirty, and turns out it was Rowe. Rowe quickly outs Nix as the actual murderer of Velez, and a frenetic end commences where the truck is stopped by a quite ineffective FBI roadblock courtesy of Brother Byrne, leading to parallel chases of Dumas after Rowe on foot and Byrne after Nix in cars. Eventually, both Rowe and Byrne are caught, with the former surrendering peacefully and the latter shot Greedo style after reaching for his weapon after learning that the bags were full of phone books all along, with the cash safely in the hands of the TNT faithful. Back at the ranch, the cash is counted, everything is done by the book, and Desi gets 20% of the rip. Dumas and Byrne live to see another sunrise, and the memory of Jackie brings all the feels. How'd I do?
Jackie, I gotta tell you, I think you're wonderful. You're incredible. The movie didn't deserve nearly that much attention.
All right.
I gotta tell you, that is everything that happened in the movie for sure.
Oh, it's not.
But you could.
There was a lot I deleted.
No, that's everything that happened. In fact, you could say it simpler, like this: after the captain's murder, a team of cops intentionally framed as dishonest find out there's a potential bust involving some money. Through hard work and an obviously inflated runtime, they figure out that they are strong enough to accurately count money and find a mole within their ranks, all within a day's work. That's all. That's what the movie's about, Jackie. It's not about any of that. You didn't have to tell about the scenes. You don't have to know about any of that. You just have to know they're a ragtag group of cops, and they know there's a bad one, and they're trying to figure it out using the money.
But there's a lot of misdirection, okay? You don't know who's the bad one at the beginning.
No, there's not any. No, there's not any. No.
So you knew exactly who it was going to be the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Well, not the whole time. I knew the moment that the call came in and he said $150,000. I knew the same time that Matt Damon's character knew. Because had one ever watched or read the movie/novel Patriot Games, you would know that they set it up. We're getting ahead of ourselves. I'm gonna get this is part of my critique.
We'll get to it, and we'll also get to. So you said it was overinflated, and I'd like to know once we get into it what you would have cut to make it. Let's say 90 minutes long.
One scene for sure you could cut it completely. There's others that are negligible that you don't necessarily need, but you could definitely cut one scene for sure.
All right. Let's get into it, and let's start going through these categories. So we're mixing and matching a few categories. There's some new ones from last week, and to be honest with you, I took some of the titles from last week and reconfigured what they actually mean in the context of the category.
Nobody cares about the categories, Jackie.
People are really they're all messaging me, and they're telling me, hey, I really like these categories. But
you're not keeping them consistent.
They're telling me that we don't like it when you change up the categories. I'm sorry, but it just has to be done for the good of the podcast.
Gotta do it. Sorry.
But here we're going to start with nothing but the best, where we're talking about all the best parts. And this is naturally going to lead into our next category as well, cheek to cheek, which is the worst parts, where we give out demerits. Okay?
Demerits.
So I'm going to ask you to only focus on the positive at first before we get to the demerits, okay?
Okay, Jackie, I'm going to try hard.
So I'm going to go kind of chronologically, and I'm just going to talk about scenes. Now, these aren't all necessarily the best scenes, but just hang with me, and as we get to your favorite scenes, go ahead and pop in, okay?
Oh, Jackie, okay,
so the movie kind of opens up with Captain Velez's murder. So you got that scene where it's raining. She's hiding behind the PT Cruiser, and she gets shotgunned pretty brutally to death.
She tanks 2 shotgun blasts.
It's tough. It's a tough one, but she does get off a final text before, whipping a phone into the water. So there's that thing. It kind of starts with, some action and then immediately goes into the interviews. So obviously they wanted to include a little bit of an action set piece before they just jump into these cop, internal affairs types interviews.
No one's going to watch nothing if they don't have an explosion within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So why
However, I think at the end of the day, I liked the interviews a little bit better than the Velez murder scene, because I have to tell you, Affleck was just cooking with gas in his interview. It was some of the funniest, most entertaining stuff. We'll kind of get into all the pieces of it, but basically, in that scene where they're doing the interviews, it's jumping between kind of everyone on the TNT team doing their own interview. I think it was notable that, when they introduce Detective Rowe, who ends up being the bad guy, he's like, oh, what? So you think we would just steal the money? So the cops would steal the money. Yeah, let me get this straight. So he's kind of, especially on his second viewing, he's kind of, clearly telling on himself.
A little bit on the nose.
Yeah. And then you've got Baptiste, who's played by Tiana Taylor, who says, let's keep it a bean. That's
never heard
that's
that
something
in my
I'm
life.
going to start using in my everyday conversation. But yeah, that was a new one to me.
Shout out the bean tones.
Shout out to the Beantones. Shout out to
the
Beantown.
Beantones. The Beantones don't know who we are.
Oh, no, they'll never listen to this.
Oh, no, but they'll never listen to this and they'll never hear it. But every time somebody says anything about beans, I just think about that sweet harmony of the Beantones.
Yeah, good fiber, good harmony.
Yep.
So, who else? We got Salazar. She's probably among the most forgettable of the TNT cops. She just, for most of the movie, she's counting the money with Tiana Taylor.
And, well, she's also like the dog handler.
Yeah, that's true. She's
like,
kind of the Wilbur handler, but unfortunately, she's completely upstaged when Wilbur comes into the picture, and we'll talk a lot about Wilbur.
We're going to talk about Wilbur,
forward.
Jackie.
Okay?
Whoa, we're going to talk.
And then you also have Matt Damon's character, who's Lieutenant Dumas. He's not really interviewing with IA that we can see. He's talking to Major Tom, whatever, played by our friend Nesta, about his IA, interview simultaneously at the same time as what's his face, Affleck's character, Sergeant. What's his last name, Tyler?
You can just call him Ben Affleck. We don't need to
call him
by
Affleck,
the character names.
But I do. I mean, Byrne. He's an Irish guy. Okay, so Sergeant Byrne. At the same time as, we've got this interview going on with the Major and Damon, we've got Affleck, and he's in the room, and he's interviewing with the FBI, where we find out very quickly that it's actually his brother that's doing the interview. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on as well. I mean, I have a lot of questions about that, but we'll get to that in due course, okay?
You're a bully, Jackie. You're a bully.
I'm not a bully. And I have to tell you, that was some strong glass in that interview room because he threw him against it really pretty hard. And that was some of the most fun I had. I mean, there's a lot of words that was said that were hopefully written down that I really enjoyed. And it's strange when you don't hear it from, the C word I'm talking, when you don't hear it out of the mouth of a British person. It just sounds very offensive,
Yeah.
It's very offensive. And he tripled down on it.
Americans put mustard on that word.
Oh, yellow mustard. Absolutely.
You're not supposed to put mustard on that.
No. So those opening interviews. After that, we had the TNT hangout behind the station that was pretty much Fast and the Furious. They were like drag racing for some reason.
I was waiting for them to pull out like a case of Corona and just be like, "Oh, we're gonna go into space in this next movie."
I was just waiting for Vin Diesel to come around the corner and be like, "Mi familia." But anyway, it was very bizarre. There was a little bit of Jack Daniels product placement as well.
A little bit, yeah.
And but that is a scene where we meet the DEA guy, Nix, who ends up being kind of the big bad. So that's Kyle Chandler's character. So one thing that they did in this movie is they kind of casted two good guys as the bad guys. So you had Stephen Yeun, who everybody loves, and then you have Kyle Chandler, who everybody loves from different stuff. And they both end up being the bad guys. And again, when Nix comes up and starts talking to him, he makes a joke about, they're like, "Oh, here comes the dirty cops." Yeah, so it's all kind of out in the open.
Yeah.
So
the Nix thing, that's another thing that's the thing I didn't catch about the movie. I didn't think, to be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to be back in the movie at all. I didn't think
he was called a few times in the middle. So he
I know. I thought
was like on his way.
They were just going to call
for
him the whole time. I thought he was never going to make it. You know what I mean? And be like,
to be honest with you, I didn't realize it was Kyle Chandler until after I watched it because he's a little more grizzled. I just didn't put two and two together.
Yeah, he looked.
So if I had known that, I think I would have intuited that he would be heavily involved at some point. It would have felt weird that he wasn't so involved early in the movie. So after the TNT hang, you have them arriving at the stash house with Wilbur, the dog. They mention Wilbur. You don't know that it's going to be a dog. Once he's on the scene, he pees on the house. He immediately, once they get consent to enter, he just goes right to the cash. So he does his job right away, and then he's just kind of hanging out, scoring points for the rest of the movie.
Honestly, Jackie, he's the most efficient person in the film. person or animal.
He's the
He
best
does
at his
exactly
job.
what he needs to
He
do.
doesn't
Best at
complain.
his job. Doesn't complain. Doesn't do anything except his job.
Absolutely.
And he does it well.
So Wilbur comes in. That's a big moment, okay? After this
Huge.
is when Dumas, that's Matt Damon's character, starts acting weird. So he takes everybody's phones. There's this whole paranoid vibe that gets set up. You know, they find the cash up in that weird attic. We'll talk a little bit about the details of that as we go on. But basically, there's this whole, you know, early, the counting. The next thing that happens is the Hialeah cops come, and they are just acting like they are, you know, just doing something bad. Like, something bad. You don't know
projecting
what it is.
very negative energy the entire scene. They're like, we don't like you here, and you shouldn't be here.
Like, they don't turn off the light bar right away. He takes about 5 to 7 seconds to turn it off after being asked by, you know.
And then he slowly backs out of the cul-de-sac rather than, like, turning around. I was like, why are you?
And then Affleck goes up to the guy who's sitting shotgun. He's like, hey, do I know you? He's like, no. You've never seen me before. It's like, okay. Well, that settles it. That's not...
I guess I didn't. I've never seen...
It's not weird at all.
Yeah.
So there's that whole Hialeah cops thing. Then they start the counting. So from that point on, for about an hour of the film, Tiana Taylor and I apologize, her name is Baptiste, and then Salazar, I don't remember the name of the actress, so I can't swap. It's got to be one or the other. So Baptiste and Salazar are in the garage, and they're doing the count for almost the entire movie after that. And then these phone calls start coming in from, you know, someone with some kind of a voice enhancer that's like, hey, you're going to die in 30 minutes. You're going to die in 10 minutes. And they just get these kind of consistent calls. And that's where we hear, like, just take the $150K and leave. So, you know, that's one of those breadcrumbs that leads you to Roe later
It's
on.
not a breadcrumb. It's not a breadcrumb. It literally... Okay.
If you are watching it trying to figure out stuff, I think you get it right away. If you're just kind of letting it wash over you and not, you know, locked in that way, I think it's very easy to...
I think you need to notice only one thing in the film, and it's that he gives them different numbers at the beginning. If you notice that he gives them different numbers at the beginning, that's literally all you need, because it is a trope in film and media. I had to look this up. I don't know where it started. Well, where it started technically in books was in Patriot Games, Tom Clancy book, coined the term. It's called the canary trap. You give people different information. Whoever gives the information up leaks it, because it's slightly different than the other information that you've given, but generally the same. It's money, but a different amount. You know who it is. And if you are... This trope has been used frequently in the last decade for... I can't remember there's different animes. There's a couple of different things that have used this in a modern context. And not only that, it's existed in espionage for a very long time. They called it the barium mixture, or what did they call it? The barium meal test? The barium meal test. In the same way that when you go to a hospital, you take barium, and then you can see your digestive tract through the X-ray. It shows any leaking or inconsistencies in your digestive tract, in the same way that you would give somebody information and then eventually find them through that information.
Save it for Medical Corner.
Yeah, Medical Corner. But also, if you're aware of that trope at all, and you notice that he gives 4 individual numbers to his team, and then one pops up again later, it can only be one thing.
Yeah. They could also have turned that trope on its head, so I don't think they could have. You know,
but
I think that a lot of this is, you know, number one, there are a lot of people who will not have seen Patriot Games. I think there are a lot of people that are in their 20s or younger that are on Netflix, and maybe they've never seen Heat, and they've never seen these other movies that are, kind of informing a lot of what this is. This movie is not trying to be innovative. It is just trying to be like a 90s action film. And so that is exactly kind of how I approached it. So I did not, the first time I watched it, in the back of my mind, I thought what you just kind of laid out there, that he is the good guy and he's laying these things. But up until the point where it was actually revealed, there was still part of me that was like, well, what if Damon is dirty? What if... And then there's like 5 seconds where I think, what if Affleck is dirty? And until...
That's the thing that I can... this is another... We'll talk about that, because they could have made Affleck like a real contender for being dirty, but I don't think at a single point in the entire film was he actually a candidate for me. But
it would have been very unlikely, just because of his relationship with Captain Velez. It would have seemed weird for them to make it, I killed my... It just wasn't that kind of a movie. It wasn't that dark. I think if it was trying to be a darker film, Damon lies about his cancer kid and Affleck kills his girlfriend and they're in it together or something, and they're both bad. Anyway.
That'd have been cool.
So after the phone calls, Roe gets posted outside. There's that whole kind of light sequence where the lights start turning on, and then you've got the...
Morse code.
You've got the Morse code.
And
somehow Affleck knows Morse code.
It's pigs.
And I'll talk. I have a lot more on everything that's kind of in that scene, so we'll just kind of shelve that until later. So Byrne goes to investigate the lights. At this point, Dumas really turns up the heat on kind of making waves like he is trying to steal the money. As we find out later, that's totally deliberate. Roe and Desi. So Roe, Desi sees Roe as like the good guy. So she's like, hey, your lieutenant is trying to steal all of this money. And, Roe goes and he's constantly on his burner phone texting someone called the chief, who like you don't know necessarily who the chief is at that point.
It's just the chief.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Affleck is also on the phone with Matty Nix, trying to get him because he, at this point, I think really actually thinks that Dumas is dirty, because this is before they are kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So then we have the whole garage shootout and ninja chase thing. Wild.
Yeah.
Just some Spider-Man stuff going on with the house-to-house. I don't know. I kind of wish that they made it clear who that was supposed to be, because I find it
was
really
very
hard
Last
to believe.
Samurai. Do you like the scene where the ninjas come into the samurai village? I'm like, what's going on? Why are we doing Tom Cruise in this movie right now?
Number one, I would have to watch it again, but I'm not quite sure how he gets up on the roof.
Yeah, how did he get on
I'm
the
not
roof?
sure who it is, because you meet the two Hialeah cops. I'm pretty sure there's more than that are in the truck. So it could be another person that we just literally never see that's kind of in on it. It could have been Deo, I guess, because we learn that he's involved down the line.
It's just there was an indiscernible amount of people on the evil side during that point. You didn't know how many people were there, and
well, at that point, that point you're thinking this is probably the cartel. The cartel comes in. They're obviously the ones that are shooting up the garage because it's their stash house. But like literally 2 minutes after this ninja scene, we FaceTime the cartel. Affleck comes out of the weeds with the most hilarious member of the cartel who FaceTimes his boss. And I've got to tell you, this is something that we'll talk about a lot more down the line, but this was one of the highlights for me.
That's one of the highlights for you?
One of the highlights just in the...
boss.
Just in the, this is entertainment. This is exactly what I want to see.
Jackie, That's the
Oh,
scene
yeah.
that would have fixed. That's the scene that fixes the movie. If you take it out, if
No.
you take out,
No, you
yes,
can't
Jack.
take out the
Oh,
cartel. No.
take out the cartel scene completely.
No.
Jackie, let's just give me a second, okay? For the viewer's sake, right? The sequence of Ben Affleck and the cartel thing happens after we have the confrontation with him and Affleck and Damon, right? They've already talked. Affleck knows who it is already. Like when they are talking on the phone, FaceTiming, he already is aware that it isn't Matt Damon's character and that Damon knows who it is. But had they never had that call and all you saw was the silhouette of the gun pointing at Affleck in the previous scene, and then you have Affleck come back with absolutely nothing, instead of, oh, I found a cartel member, it wasn't them, here's his phone, we're going to call his boss, which is the most, first of all, the most ridiculous thing ever. I'm going to call my cartel
Yeah,
boss.
well, I got it
Put him
in
on the
another
phone with a
category.
local-
That's why I don't want to talk too much right now.
Oh, I get it. I'm telling you, Jackie, if they had taken that scene completely out, had Affleck walk back up the street, be like, I don't know, guys, I didn't find nothing in that apartment. Or house
I bet
or
you
whatever.
that they showed it to people for testing the film with it out and with it in, and the people loved it with it in. They couldn't get enough of the
They
cartel
needed
guy.
it in there. They needed the cartel guy in there.
I think, yeah. Again, we'll hit that again in just a second.
They could have made Affleck a contender. He could have been somebody, but no, they put in a scene that like makes him.
I honestly think that Netflix deliberately wanted it to be less subtle. I have a quote from an interview that, the Joe Rogan interview that they did, where Matt Damon's talking about some notes that he got from Netflix about the script, and I bet you that that's part of it, and we'll get to that later.
Oh my God, are you serious? Are you like a producer was like, we gotta spoon feed the audience the answer?
More or less,
Or
yes,
they're
but
gonna
we'll
be-
get to that later.
Oh my God.
Because Netflix knows a lot of people are on their phones when they're watching these things, so it can't be too subtle, Garage. They had a fake fight, okay? Fake fight in the garage, and then they kind of like start a fire, but then it gets put out by their fight when they're rolling around on the ground. But then, what's his face, Roe, kind of restarts the fire, reignites it with a candle. I have a lot of questions about that. We'll get to that later, but I don't know why that was the move by Roe. I feel like there were a lot of other things he probably.
Well, Jackie,
attempted.
Now that you've said the Netflix thing, I think a little bit differently about this, but there were points in the movie where I'm like, did they write these scenes to lie to the audience? Like, to be a distrustful narrator? Did the director say, I want to put this in here knowing that it doesn't make a lot of sense necessarily, but it does force them to think a different way. It throws them off the trail. I honestly thought that like a couple of times they did that, where it's like one of the characters does something and you're like, are you trying to make it look like, because it's not something somebody would normally do, right? And then I'm trying to think of an example. I wrote one down. I'm not going to be able to find it in my notes. It doesn't matter. You understand what I mean. It's like they are putting in breadcrumbs, but only to lie to you.
Yeah,
The
there's a
director
lot of
shouldn't lie
deliberate
to you.
misdirection. It's supposed to. They're trying to have it so that you're thinking it might be this guy, it might be this guy. They want you to not really know what's going on until about an hour 15 in, when they spell it out for you.
What you should do. Here's a note for if you're going to make a movie for me, okay? Anybody out there who wants to make a movie just for me. Make the movie as though the person who's doing the bad thing is realistically doing the bad thing. If you want to obfuscate it, make the obfuscation realistic. Do it, film it as though they were really trying, giving the old college try to do the bad thing. And
who
then
are you talking
use
about?
editing, the director. So like any character
No, but who in
does
this
a bad
movie
thing,
are you talking about that they obfuscated them doing the bad thing?
Oh, the row. Generally, they like feed you information that he's like doing something.
Yeah.
But there's a time.
One thing that there is not is a lot of motivation.
Yeah,
they don't really tell you anything about Roe's past. He's like the one that
guy.
They don't really go into anything. Like, you don't know what his love life is like. You don't know if he's got a family. You don't know if he's in copious amounts of debt. There's like no trail leading back to Roe. He is kind of purely just there, so you don't think it's him at all until it is. You know?
Oh. And I guess this was because I already knew what like was kind of going on. But after the reveal of the 100 and like this is because I already knew. It's like after they reveal the 150K call and Damon, and then subsequently I knew who the person was. They do a bunch of things where they have the other characters still seem like they could be the person.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that part, because then one of the characters already knows. And it should be about catching the audience up rather than trying to confuse them more. My thought is have Roe be the bad guy, do all of the stuff, but then don't like keep trying to cover it up. Do it through editing. Do it like by having him absent, or not like adding a line in that's like, oh, you're the only good one. Or like that to me is it's weird and dishonest. There are ways to do that. If you want to have somebody say someone is tell a truth about a character, there's a trope for that. There's something that exists in our literary history. You have somebody who's a distrustworthy character say the truth out loud. Maybe somebody who's like a homeless person or an unhoused
The worst person you know just made a great point.
Right, the worst person you know just made the great point. That is a way. Why would you have the one character that you trust in the film, kind of, which is the one who got the house broken into, be like, you're the only good one? That's it's a crazy thing, and it is just.
They could have had another beat between
us.
Desi and Roe that was like she falls down and he catches her or something. I don't know. They could have like had some more little stuff like that kind of made it a little bit. But anyway, I think we can pick this apart a little bit more in the future. Let's keep going with these scenes.
I'll pick it apart forever.
So we had the fake fight, the fire. Nix arrives in the Lenco, which is that armored truck, and then they start loading those bags in. And then you got that scene where there's the four of them. There's Nix, there's Roe, there's Dumas, and Byrne. They're all in the back of the truck, and the lights are going by. I thought that was kind of a cool shot. With as the lights go by, it's kind of illuminating their faces, and there's a little bit of a Mexican standoff. They start to kind of
like, oh, who is it? Am I bad?
Yeah, and then basically shortly after that, they just kind of lay everything out there through a series of flashbacks. They revisit moments. That's when you get the confirmation that him telling people the different numbers was to chase out who it was. Right when he heard 150K, he knew it was Roe. And then Roe's like, and then they're like, and that's why you had that burner phone. And he's like, I didn't have a burner. Then what's this? And they like literally show it to him. I thought that was funny. And then basically they make it clear that they already know it's Nix because he's the one that came, running to the scene. Yeah. But then they also had to have, and I don't know why Roe did this. He asked for the phone. and he,
That's another
called
thing.
the last
It's another
number, and then
it's another obfuscation. It's a random reason to make you confused, the viewer confused, for no reason. He's like, there's one more shot where I can make it look like it's somebody else, but we already know. I think that was another silly thing to do.
I mean, I think it's Nick's like 30 seconds. I just don't think that phone call where I think they just wanted that
the
shot of
redial
him
call
calling the
doesn't-
phone and then it
Yeah.
lights up his face and it's like, it's this guy.
For sure.
That was a little silly. So after that, they get to the roadblock. I think Affleck, while they were en route, kind of threw his brother a pin of their live location or something. And that's how the FBI set up. The FBI clearly didn't have enough time to set up very well because, basically once they get stopped, it's very easy for them to just get out and, run away, basically. Then you got those twin chases, which we'll talk about a lot more.
With
as
a
we
bag
go.
full of full of
yeah,
cash on your back.
That's a whole thing that we'll definitely get into. Not only just a superhuman effort by Roe, if we're being honest with you. After taking quite a beating, getting
really
pistol
in
whipped,
there.
getting shot in the ear. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not even money. It's the phone books at the end. And you're like carrying a bag of phone books on
which
your
is
back.
something that
Jesus.
was just used in that HBO series. What am I thinking of? It's not Mayor of Easttown. It's the other Pennsylvania. I cannot think of the name of that show right now.
Well, I don't know, Jackie. I don't know.
Oof, that's gonna bug me. I just watched it on.
We'll get to it later.
It's another The Something on HBO, and it had it was really good. But basically, at the end of that show, they had the same thing where you think it's a bag of cash, or no, in this case, it was actually supposed to be a bag of fentanyl, I think, and then it's phone books kind of thing. So I had just seen that in that show, and then all of a sudden they're using kind of that same thing here. It'd be interesting to know who was the originator of that. That has to be a trope that's been used over and over again. Who was the first to do the phone book in the bag trick?
I'm going to look that up for next time.
You should. Then we got Task. Task is the show that I was thinking of with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
So they had that kind of thing in there. Jackie / Byrne. So when Byrne was shooting up Nick's, it kind of flashed between him and Jackie, so it was like Jackie was shooting him too. I like that.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well,
and we'll get to Jackie later, but I think you could see this movie in a whole different light if you think that Jackie actually is a witch that has magical powers. And then
that's funny because they do say that.
The aftermath
Oh, no.
and the final count and the guy saying that's one solid rip.
Oh my god.
So that was kind of a scene by scene. So on the positive side, Tyler, what was your favorite scene? What was your favorite scene to watch?
I think, Jackie, I gotta go with what I called the confrontation, where Damon and Roe are you a snitch, Mike?
Outside the house, you're
rattle me?
talking?
Outside the house.
Right before he goes to talk
go
to Affleck.
get Affleck.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's a moment where Roe turns away and he's gripping his gun, and it's like, that's the point where I was already like, dude, Damon knows who it is.
Damon's also
And he could just
throwing vibes like I feel like Roe was genuinely
afraid
terrified that he was
going to
get shot. Exactly. So,
yeah, no, exactly. And then, but it goes from that point where you're like, wow, that's a really good performance by Steven Yeun. And he looks like he's going to get shot for a moment. And he's walking, and then he calls. This is a little qualm I have in the scene because he says they're going to rip the stash, which I got confused by because so far they've been calling the stash, like until then they had called the stash the rip, and I'm like, are you trying to is it
a noun, is it a verb?
Or
Do we
are they
rip the
using
stash,
this?
or do
This
we
is
stash
another
the
one of
rip?
those things where I'm like, are they trying to project it so he doesn't seem as legitimate because he's using the word differently? Whatever. I'm thinking too much about it. Look,
They
then
do
you
say the
have
word
point-
rip a lot. So if
They
you're
say
really,
it a lot, and
it could be a drinking
yeah,
game for sure.
Yeah.
If we had a drinking game category, I think every time they say rip would definitely be, on there. They also just use a lot of jogging. They have they had a whole other acronym for the team that's supposed to come in and take the rip.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what it is, but it's
No,
like basically
neither
they
do I.
had some kind of an extraction team. They had VCAT, you had TNT, you got all
There
of
were
these
more.
acronyms, and then a little
There's too
jargon
many.
thrown in where it's like, yeah, we're real cops because we use, these 5 words.
So yeah, look at us. We know
Anyway,
all the
so
lingo.
your favorite scene was the confrontation.
It goes from the walk to like confrontation between those two.
Yeah.
Walking back to the house, think you're gonna get shot. The next moment is the silhouette of the gun behind Affleck, and then it cuts directly to when Roe walks in to them counting the money with the. For the first time, the door is secured from the inside with the zip ties,
Yeah.
and Salazar and
Baptiste.
Numa Baptiste, you can tell they know too, because it's cold. They are stone faced. They're doing the thing, and that was the moment in the movie for me where I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen, and then what happens, Jackie? They get shot at through the.
And that was one of the
just a
most
good-
harrowing parts, which I'll get to in the next bit. But first, my
sure.
favorite part is honestly in the very beginning where Affleck is getting interviewed. Just his whole interview and the reveal of it being his brother and the fight was the funniest thing to me. That was my favorite thing to watch. It was my favorite thing to
smoking
rewatch.
cigarettes the whole time.
Oh, and that's just that's just Affleck. That wasn't
That's
written in the
just him.
script.
Do you think that he was like, I'll do the movie, but you gotta let me smoke whenever I want?
Oh, you know that he got to craft his own character in this one. So that's nothing but the best, all the best parts. We kind of went through everything. Now we're going to do, a lot more kind of quicker hits here, starting with Cheek to Cheek. Now, you kind of went over some negative parts as we went out, but these are actual demerits that we're giving the movie. This is the stuff that we're knocking it down for, okay? And I'm going to let you rattle off a bunch, but I just got 2. Actually, I got 3 that I want to go over. Number 1, there was that whole Colombian bit where he's talking about, well, you have a Colombian flag, so
Colombian
clearly
flag.
you're a drug dealer.
That was weird.
That was tough. That was a tough look.
That was a weird one.
We don't need our police to be acting as such. The next thing that I'll give a demerit for is going to be the 30 seconds where I thought Wilbur was actually in genuine trouble. This would have been a turn it off for me if during that shootout, because there's a point where they're like, where's Wilbur? Where's the
Wilbur?
dog? And
the dog's
until
like,
I saw that dog totally fine, I was... I mean, that was probably the most harrowing part of the movie for me personally, is just that. So I did not appreciate when Wilbur was in any sort of danger at all.
Jackie
and then the
was
other
about to
thing
turn
that
into a
I
John
think is
Wick.
demerit, the last demerit that I have is what I just talked about with all of the jargon and all the acronyms. It's basically given me homework. Like, I definitely didn't catch it all the first time through. I remember the letters, like VCAT and whatever, but I literally have to go in and research that it's like the Violent Crime Action Team. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
They could have made
Lot
it
of stuff.
more generalized and been like, the Homicide Division or whatever. Why did it have to be this weird action squad? Why does TNT have a cool name? They're just like, how is TNT different from the DEA? Are they? I didn't really understand, a lot of.
And I don't think they
that.
expect you to, Jackie.
No.
They're trying to make a 90s action movie.
Oh, they are. It's like
Let's not explain.
it really
anything.
reminded me of movies like the old SWAT movie with Colin Farrell and that kind of stuff. It was like, don't think too hard about it. There's a lot of action and that sort of thing. So anyway, what are your demerits?
Oh, definitely when Batman called the DEA agent Nix, when he was like, "I need you out here," and the guy was like, "Oh, I'm on my way, but my guys, I don't have my guys, you know, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna call my brother," and then and the Nix says, "No, no FBI," and I was like,
Isn't the DEA
what?
federal as well?
I know, Jackie, and I was like, oh. So not only do you not, he's like, first of all,
It's like,
you know
hey,
the man's in danger.
Dumas
You
isn't
know how
doing this
much-
by the book. Maybe we should get the FBI. No.
No, hold on, wait. Don't do that. I'm coming. It's like, it's his brother. What are we talking about right now? Don't call the FBI when you think your partner is a mole and about to steal $20 million minus $150,000.
To be fair, I think
just-
that's the tension of a lot of just the whole thing is, you don't know, Salazar and Baptiste have that whole conversation. What could I do with this money? What could, and they want you to think that anybody would be tempted to take the money. So I think Nix is included
interesting,
in that.
even when they, that's my other critique. It's funny that you say that one, because my critique is that they never explicitly, Salazar and, Numa is her first name, Baptiste, they never almost every other character says, "I'll take it," or a version of, "Do you think I'm going to take it?" They never do. Those two never say, they'll say, "Think of what I could do with the money. What would you do with it?" Everything. They never once say, "Would you take it?" or "I would take it." They only ever think, it's like, what could this money be used for?
And then she
And
holds
I
up
think
what
that's-
must be like $10K, and she's like,
She
just
says
this
it could
money.
change my life. Yeah.
It's like,
and
could
it's
it?
like, but that's the thing about that whole scene for me. That, to me, made them seem less likely to take something, because they weren't like, oh, the way that it was written, I'm like, oh, they're not talking about, oh, I'm going to take it. They're saying, like, generally what this money could do, whereas Roe straight up says, oh, like in that interview in the beginning, he's like, "Do you think we would take it?" Affleck goes to Damon, Damon's confrontation right after they take the cell phones, and they basically accuse one another. Well, Affleck accuses Damon, whatever. They go at it with one another. They're for sure. Those two play into each other enough where you think that they are a possibility. But boy, they could have done a better job of making it seem like the two ladies were actually gonna take it, because they were touching the money the whole time. But that part, and then when the flashback when they're in there's only one flashback when they're in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one. And it is the silhouette of the gun. And I think it's not that it is a bad scene. It is that it is in the wrong place. And that's why I think it is the worst. Because I understand they're building tension in the moment. They should have kept that until after everything happened. So they have both of them one dead, one in cuffs. Flashback. Because in the car, there's this energy. It's going up, 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 up. They take the guns out. The light. The thing. They're talking. Who is it? Is it him? Is it him? Is it Affleck? Is it Batman? What are we doing? And then flashback of him and Damon talking about who it is. And you could have that entire scene happen where they're fighting, and and the viewer, if they're trying to keep us confused, still doesn't know who the bad guy is.
Yeah, it would have made
It's
it would have made it completely different, because when Affleck goes after Nix and Damon goes after Roe, we know that they are the good guys chasing the bad guys. So it would have changed the complexion of that and made it a lot messier.
Yeah, It could have been like, oh, they're trying to get the money back, or or Rose trying to save the money running away.
Yeah.
Is the FBI dirty too? It's his brother. Maybe he's in on it.
That
with
might
him.
have been
It's like
too
this.
much.
It's like, but dude, that's what I'm saying. This. I get so bothered when things spoon feed things to me. I'm like, I get it. If I get confused, I'll watch it again and try to figure it out. Like, first run through, I was like, oh, okay. Patriot Games.
Any
Good.
other
I'm glad.
demerits? I haven't seen Patriot Games, so I don't know. I don't know what happens in Patriot Games.
It's just literally the same. The device that they use to find the information is the same. It's the canary trap. It is just what they're doing. It's not like the movie's the same. It's how the twist is given to us, or how they obfuscate the twist, or how the characters feel.
Yeah, I feel like I cannot point to a pop culture reference of where I know it from, but it's familiar to me. The whole
that's why I was saying before.
To figure it out.
In the last 10 years, it's been in so many different. I didn't want to bring up One Piece, but I know there's like at least one time where it's in there.
Oh, there you go.
So it's like, it's a lot of stuff.
That's how they found the One Piece, I believe.
That's how they found it, Jackie.
Thank goodness.
Those are my demerits.
They spent a lot of time looking for that thing. So those were your demerits.
I got one more demerit.
Okay.
Why did Affleck take off his shirt?
Oh, you think that's a demerit?
There's no motivation for him to take off his shirt.
I got that in a different category, but you know the motivation.
Well, okay. But like the other part of it is, did he get that back tattoo removed? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't look too closely.
Ben Affleck has an enormous back tattoo. No, you wouldn't be able to miss it.
Was it
like
J-Lo?
That's the thing.
What was it?
No. It's like some dragon thing, I think. It's crazy, Jackie.
That must have been makeup, you would think. It must have been a Sergeant Byrne thing.
I don't know. I know that he has the tattoo for real in real life.
The only reason
saying
you think he has that tattoo in real life?
No, I'm saying that I know for a fact that he has a large back tattoo, or at least he did. And I'm wondering if they had to edit it out because of how
almost certainly
it's insane.
Yeah, almost certainly.
I don't know if he got it removed yet. He should.
Oh, you don't get that removed. You keep the dragon tattoo. If you get a big dragon tattoo on your back, you're keeping that. You're never taking that off. That's the
Jackie,
stay.
hold on. Let me, it is a dragon. Hold on, let me, oh, it's gonna be so terrible to do this on the screen.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, do you think you might be able to see that one on the screen?
Yeah, I didn't know I thought you were saying that in the film he had a back tattoo.
No. So, in real life, he has a back tattoo.
In real life, I mean, to get that removed would just be torture. I mean, you spend all the time
I was
getting it
thinking
on.
about the same thing.
I
I'm like,
know.
oh my God. Think about how many hours. That has to be like 10 hours at least. Because it's also in color. You have to like... I don't know how long tattoos take. That just has to be too much.
It'd be multiple sittings for sure.
That's good. Oh,
let's keep rolling here. So we did our demerits. Now we're going to It Had to Be You. This is the best reveal. So let's do some quick hits. I have some reveals. This had a lot of reveals in it, which is why I had this category here. So the reveal that they were brothers in the beginning. You know, he's being interviewed. Ben Affleck is being interviewed by this FBI agent. We find out that they're brothers after they have a big fight. It kind of changes the complexion of that scene and, makes it a lot funnier. Let's see. I have a note written here. They found the money. So it's just the reveal of, wow, there's a lot of money here.
all of that. There's a lot of,
Yeah. You have Dumas' tattoos. They talk about what they actually mean. It's kind of a what would Jesus do? But actually, I have another note on that later in another category, so we'll talk about that later. But
what?
They talk about
That's
what those
gross,
tattoos
Sky.
are.
That's what I was like. Why argue adjectives? We bitches.
Well, you're trying to figure out beforehand.
Yeah.
Just
I
write
wrote
them all
them down
out.
while I was watching, and I was like, what could this mean?
The cartel is good. Reveal.
Who knew?
The dog was okay. The reveal that
Oh,
Wilbur was fine.
How dare you say that? Wilbur was great.
The reveal about Dumas' son. So we see him on the lock screen, and then we kind of get an offhand reference to his son having a medical issue, and then it's confirmed that his son had cancer. The tank reveals, or the Lenco, the armored car, just like the string of reveals, reveal after reveal, with the text from Velez being confirmed, what that was about. Dumas' gambit, where he, does the whole thing that we've been talking about this whole time. Roe being detected, Nix being found out. So reveal, 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 reveal. You may have been revealed earlier on, as we've discussed. The bags had phone books reveal. And then the reveal that the count was perfect. Did you have any other reveals?
Well, it's tangential to the phone book thing. I liked the image of the old station wagon being driven away with the original tubs. I thought that.
Yeah. Because
they're like, it goes alongside with a complaint that I have. It's for our hot take section, so I'll save it. But just the way I liked the reveal of the buckets in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And then to give us the phone books.
I have some questions about the logistics of that whole thing, but I did like, when they flash to that and they're all cruising with the dog. It was all good vibes. So what was the best reveal of all of those? I know what it is for me.
It has to be the switch up. The switch up, the phone books versus that's what it is. It's even though we'll talk about it later, but that's something I knew was going to happen too. Not necessarily that they were going to put them in bags or whatever, but I knew that they were.
That's probably the correct answer.
The phone books.
I have a favorite reveal, which again is that the cartel is good and they're just generally good, helpful guys. And also, I like that the dog is okay. So let's go right into sending the clowns.
What we learned from the rip. We learned the rip.
I gotta tell you,
just good guys.
This was one of the funniest movies I've seen, intentional or not. There were many laugh out loud moments for me, and we've talked about it a lot as we've gone. But here's what I've got for sending the clowns, the funniest stuff. The very beginning, the Affleck interview, we've talked about it. Just some of the funniest, minute-to-minute stuff in the film. The Fast and Furious TNT hang. Just, what is this doing here? Why are they hanging out like this? Why is someone, doing weird drag racing,
doing motocross
and whatnot
in the parking lot?
Oh yeah, there is that as well. There's just a lot going on.
What's going on?
Interesting, way to spend tax dollars. Just the tip. So there was that, just like he's talking about the Crime Stopper tip, and then Damon is just like, just the tip. It's just, immature. Made me laugh. The ninja guy. Just funny.
Yeah, the ninja guy. The whole ninja funny. Thing. Why is he on the roof?
I mean, I'll say it again. The whole cartel thing. Just funny. Just, if they had called up the cartel boss and it had been Fred Armisen, that would have been the only thing that would have made it even more perfect for me. Just like I can imagine
Fred
Armisen on a FaceTime.
Directly to jail.
Speaking Spanish.
Straight to jail. That's the Parks and Rec one. That's so funny.
Okay. I don't have a burner. And then he immediately shows him the burner. And Ro's like, oh, yeah. You mean that burner? Tough one.
I thought, for me, one of the funniest parts was when Wilbur comes up and we get a full-on shot of his intact balls.
Oh, yeah.
Peeing on the door. I was like,
he's a full... He's a complete dog, okay?
He's a complete dog, folks. He's a real man.
Yeah. The only sad part about Wilbur's, arc is that he didn't, get a dog lady at the end.
That's true.
You know, they
That's
could have
true.
wrapped up Wilbur's side of the story.
Could have gotten him a nice French poodle.
Some of the funniest stuff that we haven't talked about to this point is the former VCAT guy, when he's driving the Lenco, he's just constantly like, I don't know where I'm going, man. Where are we going? The feds are everywhere, man. We're not gonna. He's like doing his Bill Paxton from Aliens thing, like he is just there to be that guy that's like unsure about everything that's going on, and he's like, I don't know if we can do this, man.
I also think it's funny, like, before he's even in the car, there's like, pull Deo out of the car. He just yanks the guy out of the car and starts driving, and you're like...
And he's like, I don't know where I'm going. Where were we? What was even the plan? Where are we supposed to go?
You're not even, like, taking a moment to be like, oh, he's dead.
You know that, so they had the guy driving the Chevy Tahoe, who we have to assume was the other Hialeah guy, but we never actually see that. So that guy jumps out of that car where he was probably riding shotgun, gets into the Lenco, and clearly he didn't do the homework. Like, he was probably sent like a Google document with like, first we're gonna go to the stash house, we're gonna shoot it up, you're gonna run like a ninja, but then we're gonna come back, we're gonna load the stuff into the car, and then if Deo goes down, you gotta jump in, and this is where we're going. And he like forgot to even download Google Docs on his phone, so he had no idea where they were going once shit hit the fan.
I keep trying to open it in my browser, but I don't have any bars.
So all he could do was constantly be like looking back. He was just like, hey, Nix, hey, where are we going, man? I don't know where we're supposed to go.
He also had access to a gun the entire time, and he like never once tried to help in the back. And they're like fighting, and then he does at one point a gun back there. And it's like, why didn't you do that at the beginning? They've been fighting the whole time.
He wasn't really, his heart wasn't in it. When they hit the FBI roadblock, he like immediately surrendered. And I was kind of happy.
He was like, we should just give up.
Yeah, he's like, they're everywhere, man. There's like nothing we can do. And then immediately they escape with like no problem. And it's like, okay, so clearly if you just get out of the car and start moving, that's something that you could have done. But whatever.
They've got us completely surrounded.
Except for the sides and the back. They're like only in front. And there's only the one FBI agent that's standing there in the light looking at him.
And he doesn't
then they
have
got
his
like
gun
one sniper.
His brother told him he wasn't supposed to bring it.
So yeah, that's probably my choice in the category, but I got a couple of others. The You're on speakerphone, that made me laugh. It's like he reveals he's like trying to haggle and bargain, and it's like, you're still on speakerphone, like the whole time. It's
and
going to the FBI.
At the end, he's like, I told you I was on speaker. And it's like, I said you were on speaker.
Yeah, he's like still holding the phone up. Well, it's like just awareness level 0 for Nix. How did he get away with this for so long? The brother hug thing. Don't you give your big brother a hug? You gotta hug your brother, and he's like, not in front of the feds.
Even though he's a bully. All my friends are gonna think I'm in love with my brother.
And then there's just an offhand, probably improvised line by Affleck at the end. It's like, stop effing around. I know you have a beer around here somewhere. And I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was probably just at the end of a take, and he's like, I'm ready to drink.
Yeah.
And that was a real Affleck. That wasn't in character at all.
So for me, it's the VCAT guy in the Lenco. I couldn't like. I watched that scene because I watched the movie a couple times, and then I watched just the end bit again today, and it made me laugh every time.
I gotta tell you, it's not like a specific scene, but the thing that I found funniest the entire time was that Ben Affleck was chain smoking. He like inside, outside. He was smoking the whole movie. And I was like, Ben, everybody's seen that meme of you like standing outside with your cigarette
Oh yeah.
looking just so sad. And I am like, every scene, I just kept seeing him like, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get that image out of my head. That and his back tattoo.
Well, now the back tattoo will be front of mind for me.
Right? It's going to sit with you for a long time.
It does. That's probably why he got it,
Sorry
though.
that I had to show you.
For it to really stick in your mind. All right, the best fight moment. So this is Ain't That a Kick in the Head? Best fights. And you know, there's only a couple fights, but try to pick out like the best moment from the fight.
I'm picking well, here's the thing. I like fight. If we're talking about physical fight, I put in a gunfight. It's the first
it can be
gunfight in the first gunfight in the garage is what I thought was the best. It built up. It actually felt like there were stakes. It was the moment where Wilbur, for a moment, we thought, oh no. And the other fights, the note that I wrote is like partially the reason I picked this one is because I could tell what was happening.
Oh, the one at the end was hard to follow. It needed like a third
I had a very hard
viewing
time.
with multiple pauses for me to actually understand. Like, I didn't even catch at first that Deo... Like, I was like, where did Deo come from when they, like, just plopped him on the pavement? I was like, where... What? Like, he was... And it's like, turns out... that was what was confusing, is Nix was like... They were like, hey, where's Deo? And Nix was like, oh, I sent him home. But he didn't, because he was driving the Lenco. So that confused me. I don't know why he lied about that. Like, that's weird. That was weird writing.
It's another thing where it's like, yo, I think they're trying to confuse us, Jackie. I think it was an intentional thing where they're like,
I think there's some unintentional confusion in that whole fight situation. There was another one where like the sniper shoots, and it's hard for me to tell if he shot at the person in the Tahoe, who we never see at all, or if he shot at the bulletproof windshield of the Lenco, which is what I think happened. But again, there was just like some cuts where you weren't quite sure who shot who. I had to roll it back to see that Affleck shot Deo, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the sequence in when they were fighting in the back of the Lenco is really hard to see what's going on.
Yeah.
The camera shake is, and when they're fighting what I call it, the splash fight.
Yeah. Swamp battle.
I could not tell for a moment who was who.
Oh, I mean,
it's like,
to be fair, one of my favorite, maybe my best moment came from that, which is when Matt Damon as Dumas suplexes
him.
Suplex.
I thought
over
that
the
was
head.
that Jackie.
I mean,
like, you can't lift
just breaking out the suplex.
Dear Matt Damon, you're over 50. You have a white, like a graying beard in the movie.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be an aging cop. And you suplexed a man half your age, presumably. No.
A little bit more slight, though, at least.
No.
I mean, it would have been really unbelievable if it was like him to Affleck, who's 6'4" and probably over 200 pounds. But Steven Yeun is probably like,
I get it,
165, you know.
Jackie,
and it was clearly a stunt double. I mean, Matt Damon is
34.
not doing that, okay? Matt Damon is not actually doing that. That was stunt double to stunt double. But just that clip of him going over, I mean, just, again.
Oh, it's so...
a funny moment.
So funny.
The other two fight moments that I have are the brother fight in the interview, just where he's mashing him up against the glass. And then the Dumas and Byrne. The Dumas and Byrne fake fight. I thought they really sold it. You know, he's actually like punching him in the face at points. So both a verbal fight, a lot of verbal, you know, barbs being thrown where he's like, "You're a cop killer," and he's like, "Well, you probably shot us up. Oh, you just happened to come out with this cartel guy." Just happened to FaceTime the boss, and then all of a sudden we get shot. oh, likely story, and then they just start going at it. But for me, it's a suplex.
I hate it. Yeah, the suplex was funny. I really liked that opening firefight in the garage because mystery, you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Anybody's game. Stakes are high. Into that. The scene preceding it's also my favorite scene in the movie, so it built it up well.
Yeah. The way you look tonight.
The way you look tonight, Jackie. I gotta tell you, everyone's pretty much dressed the same the whole movie.
Oh, that's not exactly true.
Okay, they're pretty much dressed in
Number one,
civvies or cop stuff.
Affleck is J.D. Byrne. He changes his shirt in the bathroom and reveals, a little bit of action going on in his abdomen.
Oh, he does.
For
have
a 52-year-old man, I was very impressed. So
no, he does look good.
He
looks good.
It was just one of those moments where, like you said, it's like, why is this in the movie? But you know why it's in the movie. Because that's going to be a screenshot that you see all over the social media platforms. It's like, oh, he's still getting it done. So good for you, Ben Affleck. And,
good for you,
it's
Ben.
a nice gray T-shirt. And then one thing I noticed as well, when they found the cash up in the attic, I happened to accidentally freeze frame when we were looking at Affleck's feet, and he's wearing Air Jordans. Interesting.
Yeah, he was wearing Jordans. He's wearing Jordans the whole movie. Yeah.
And then Baptiste, had probably the most unique outfit of all of the cops.
No, I was going to say, in the, and specifically in the, what did you call it? The TNT gather scene where they were...
the Fast and the Furious.
Talking about Fast and the Furious. She's in a very nice motocross jacket. It is pretty much the only accessory, beyond... a vest, one of the police vests that anybody wears. Do you know what I mean? It's like she's got the headband and the jacket's nice. I bet that's her personal jacket because I doubt the costume company would give you a motocross jacket like that. It's probably hers.
Who knows? But yeah, she's probably the real winner. But for me,
oh, for sure. 100%
the honorable mention is
dressed.
just the changing into the gray T-shirt in the bathroom. And that's totally normal for two guys just to, hang out in the bathroom, change shirts, and talk.
Totally normal. Totally normal. But aside from that, Tiana Taylor, oh, you definitely wore it best.
Oh, yeah. Casting crooners. So who would you cast in the roles? And, and this is where we take people from the Rat Pack and beyond and try to cast them into the roles of the film.
I took some liberties here, Jackie.
Okay.
Because I felt very like Ocean's 11 with this. I felt like it's...
Did you cast Peter Lawford?
Jackie.
Be honest with me.
Oh, I did, Jackie.
Oh, no.
Okay. So, just imagine it like if Ocean's 11 were taken from the perspective of the police officers. So,
okay.
Frank's playing Damon's character.
Okay.
Dino's playing Affleck's character.
All right.
Okay. We got Sammy Davis as Ro. Okay.
Sammy Davis is Ro.
Sammy Davis is Ro. Nina Simone as Numa Baptiste. We got Natalie Cole as Lolo.
I don't know if the timing would work out on that, but sure.
I know, but it's Jackie, we're not doing it like they have to be contemporaries. That would be crazy. I would be narrowed so far.
She would have to be a 5-year-old girl or something.
Right. Jackie, come on.
All right, I'll give you the liberty. They can be at any age, all right? They could be any age.
Yeah. Annie Ross as Desi. Gotta have her. And then as Nyx, the Peter Lawford himself, Jackie.
I see where you're going.
We have to have Peter. Right, yeah, exactly. We have to have Peter get shot.
So you did kind of the full cast. I just kind of picked out different pieces, and I took it in a little bit of a different direction. Okay, so we did have one crossover. Our crossover was that Sammy Davis would be Ro. I think he would have played
Oh, he would have
The
played
whole,
so well. He'd have been so
not only
good.
is he about the right relative size to everybody, but he wasn't all the way bad. He could have played very well, like one of the most likable characters who everybody trusted.
For
Not
sure.
Sammy. Sammy couldn't have been the bad guy, but then he turns himself in at the end. Like, he's kind of a slight good guy all the same, a little bit redeemable. The other ones that I had, and I did not go through the full cast, but I did Frank, Dean, and Bing. So I said, and I'll end with Frank. So I had Dean would be Nix, okay? Dino would be Nix, and when he's lying down,
makes sense.
at the very end, trying to, plead for his life and reach for his gun, it would have been like, oh, I feel like I'm getting so old here, I'm just going to reach for my gun. And then, so I just feel like Dean really could have, done that to a T. Bing, he would be Major Tom, at the beginning. He's just talking to Damon in the office, so he would have been like kind of mentioned a lot. He would have been kind of one of the higher ups, but really doesn't get involved with the action too much. And then here's one that I think you're really going to like. For Frank.
Okay, Jackie.
For Frank Sinatra, I have him as the cartel leader. Getting FaceTimed. And then all of a sudden, there's old Blue Eyes looking back at you. And he's like, hey, I got plenty of these stash houses. I don't need any of this money. Just go ahead and take it.
I could see Frankie being the cartel.
And then if I had to put Lawford in it, he would be the cartel guy, that's giving him the FaceTime.
Hey, this is my boss. And don't you forget it.
Man, I would love to see Lawford try to speak Spanish. If that's ever happened in life, I mean, that's got to be box office.
It's going to be in the archives.
All right.
Sure.
The best is yet to come. These are sequel, or you could do prequel ideas. So I've got 3 here. One a little bit with more description,
3?
and then 2 others. Yeah, I think you could do a lot here. So let me just go through mine really quick. My first idea was, so the follow-up to The Rip would be The Tear. Dane and JD get a Crime Stopper tip about a string of stash house robberies in Miami's artsy Wynwood neighborhood, currently in the throes of a graffiti convention. Turns out the money's in the walls of the graffiti, and unfortunately they have to count, wherever they find it, so they're just out in the open, beside the walls. And Chalamet would be the lead graffiti guy, and Chris Hemsworth would come in as Dumas' brother. So turns out Dumas has a brother too, and it's Chris Hemsworth.
Unfortunately, Jackie, I liked everything until you casted Chalamet.
Oh, I mean, you could see him as the main graffiti guy. He would be like the Banksy guy,
Jackie, as long as you don't make him act, he could be anybody.
Oh, you're doing Timothy dirty there. He might
No,
get
I'm
Best
not.
Actor.
Honestly, Jackie, we are lost. The film is lost as an art form if Timothy Chalamet wins Best Actor.
Are you saying that he's not the Lisan Al-Gaib?
I'm saying that if you were to take every single one of his performances and put them side by side one another, he's making the same facial expression for every scene.
Save it for hot takes. Woo!
That has nothing to do with this
Anti-Timmy.
movie. Oh, I hate
surprised at
Chalamet.
you.
I really don't. He's not. I'm sorry. You can be billed as being the next George Clooney or whatever, but
Oh, I mean,
and
he
you can
doesn't have
be
the
in
build for
whatever.
that.
No, well, it's not even that. The media can try to push him in my face and try to make me see Marty Supreme and try to make me see all these Dune movies, but at the end of the day, he's just doing this. I know what's happening, and it's gonna be.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is about his jaw structure. I mean, that's.
I understand, and he's a beautiful man, but honestly, the things he does best with. Have you seen like his SNL stuff where he's just goofing around and like actually behaving like a regular human being? Do that, Timmy. Just stop doing the figure out how to move your eyeballs when you're acting. Talk to Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen has a lot of good like facial work when he's acting. You should talk to him.
Talk to
Anyway.
Ian McKellen.
That's true. You should talk to him.
Do you have a sequel idea, Tyler? Does it have Timothy Chalamet
Jackie.
in it?
It absolutely does. I'm going to keep the same cast, Jackie. That's what you do with sequels, because people would be pissed if you added Timothy Chalamet.
You can add people in. It's like when they
You
brought
don't need to add
Julia
anybody.
Roberts into Ocean's 12, and she kind of played herself, and it was really funny.
Yeah, just like how every time you put Timothy Chalamet in a movie, he plays himself. Anyway, I'm going to stop being mean to Timothy. He doesn't really deserve as much.
This is all going into a clip, baby. This is going to be all over the social media.
Dude, I hope so. I hope so, and I hope he sees it. I hope he sees it.
He won't.
Okay? No, he won't. And he wouldn't care, and he shouldn't care, because he doesn't need to. He's being very successful on his own. He doesn't need whatever. Anyway, my sequel idea is, after being put in WITSEC, Desi has to call Dane and the team because she believes that her location has been compromised and she has received threats. Dane and his team investigate and find that Desi's handler has been systematically leaking WITSEC locations to steal the payouts or other benefits given to those WITSEC people, just like that 20 grand that she got at the end.
I think it was like
Or
$4 million that she got.
It was 20%.
Like
I'm sorry. I
yeah.
have 20. It's 20% of 20
20
million
grand would have been hilarious.
It's like, you get 20 grand.
It's like, yeah, but half of that's going to taxes.
It's the 20. Right. So then her handler is the one, the federal agent is bad. So they bring in this team that she trusts, and they're like, oh. And then they can basically do the same movie again. But this time they trust Desi.
Yeah.
And they're trying to help her. Yeah.
Nice.
That's
so
it.
I have two other quick hits. These aren't as developed, but a prequel about VCAT. Like, what happened? What happened to VCAT? It would be funny if they kind of looped it in with CSI Miami. Maybe had some crossover in there. And then a sequel about Jackie as an immortal witch that, is kind of solving crimes and mysteries from the grave. With
right,
magic.
she's using her magic powers and a connection to her lover from beyond the grave to solve different murders.
Exactly. I would watch it. Okay, let's go to something stupid. Something stupid, and we're reframing this as random facts, okay? This is just stupid little things about the movie. So I got a lot of little, things that I picked up just from my cursory research. Have you got anything off the cuff here, or you want me to go into mine?
Well, Jackie, I was just going to talk about like the trueness of the events.
Go for it.
The only thing that's actually like semi-true.
There's
in the
two
way
things.
That they told it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of. His son did die of cancer, but it was after, like years.
5 years
they
after.
found the money.
2021, his son really died of leukemia.
Yeah.
The event of the house, with the stash was in 2016, and the only thing that it really resembles is that it was $20 million, but there was no like dirty cop situation. Yeah.
No, there was no action at all. They found it, they counted it, they turned it in, and like there was no funny business. Nobody thought, oh. There was a point in an interview where the cop said that, his first thought was somebody might know that we're here and might come after us, but none of that happened. All of the story aside from the fact that there was $20 million found in a house and the cop who found it had a son who had cancer who later died.
So it's as based on a true story as like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is basically like there was a serial killer one time.
Yeah.
So is that your something stupid, your random fact?
Well, that is one random fact. I have a couple more something stupids, but I gotta turn my
Okay, I'll go through a couple of mine.
My stuff around.
So this was filmed. Where did you look at where this was filmed at all?
No.
Okay, so it was set in Miami. Well, it wasn't filmed in Miami at all. It was filmed in New Jersey, in California.
Oh.
So
well,
the neighborhood, everywhere you see
California, I
palm
suppose.
trees, it was in L.A. and Long Beach. And then they also filmed in Bayonne, Moonachie, and Hoboken, New Jersey. So, no Miami in there at all. Apparently, there are some telltale signs with the way the street signs are and whatnot that it was California and not Miami. Also, at the very end, where they have that CGI sunrise, obviously that would have to be CGI because if you're in California, the sun would not rise in the west.
Setting.
So,
Oops.
makes sense that they would have to do that.
Yeah.
Of course, if they were on a New Jersey beach, I suppose they could have done it that way, but, maybe they don't look the same as the Florida beaches. Dumas' tattoo. That whole situation with the... so his tattoo said, are we the good guys? We are and always will be.
Always will be.
Yeah. So apparently that is based on something from Cormac McCarthy's book, The Road, where that's just something that is constantly the father and the son, they're constantly asking those questions as they, basically go on to murder a bunch of people in the post-apocalypse. So, yeah, that's where it was taken from. But in the movie, in the rip, it was like he said the last thing his son said to him, and then the last thing he said to his son, which is, wait, why would your 10-year-old son ask you if we're the good guys? He wasn't a cop. Weird. Also, was that kid reading Cormac McCarthy? It's a very bleak novel. I saw the movie version with Viggo Mortensen. Pretty rough.
I love Viggo.
Oh, I love Viggo. He was still in that post-Rings glow, Chris Cassiano, the detective who all this is based on, is credited with playing TNT detective Al Pardo, who I don't remember, but very likely was in the Fast and the Furious scene. I like to think that he was the guy on the motorbike, doing the wheelies.
Oh, I like to imagine that too.
Yeah. This was the 13th Affleck Damon film, and that includes the first one.
Affleck was also in Smokin' Aces, which is John.
Yeah, same director.
That's pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah, same director.
But the first film that they appeared in together, Affleck and Damon, they were both uncredited extras in Field of Dreams, which I didn't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. Affleck, the reason why Affleck and Damon are working together again now, apparently, is Affleck was watching that Beatles documentary, Get Back, and he got really emotional watching it when they're doing the live concert up on top of the building, which happened to be their last performance. And his daughter asked him, she's like, "Daddy, why are you crying?" And basically he was thinking about, we've only got so much time left, and, they haven't worked together in a long time. So the Beatles documentary pushed Affleck to want to work with Damon again. That's kind of why this film exists.
Well, I mean, they work well together. Good Will Hunting is still, to this day, wow.
Some of the best hunting.
You were cooking. Yeah, they were cooking then.
Oh, yeah. And then this was the thing that I was kind of talking about earlier. Here's a quote from Damon from their Joe Rogan interview that they did pretty recently. He says, "A standard way to make an action movie that we learned is you usually have 3 set pieces. One in the first act, one in the second, and one in the third, and they kind of ramp up. And the big one with all the explosions, you spend most of your money on that one in the third act, and that's your kind of finale. Now they're like," and he's talking about Netflix here, "can we get a big one in the first 5 minutes? We want people to stay tuned in, and it wouldn't be terrible if you reiterated the plot 3 or 4 times in the dialogue because people are on their phone while they're watching." So that kind of goes back to a lot of the spoon feeding that we were talking about.
I cannot deal with that. I wasn't aware of this quote. I can't believe this is the reason that film is.
It's the biz, baby. Trash. Any other random facts?
It's funny that it literally says, "Is there a way that can we get a big one in the first 5 minutes?" When I literally said earlier in this thing, it's like nobody's going to pay attention unless you blow something up in the first 5 minutes, so we might as well shoot a cop. and that's literally it. It's like, that's crazy. We should make movies with longer openings again.
Well, the other version of this movie, it just opens with the interviews, and I think it's good to have the context about why they're doing the interviews. I was really confused at first when they had like 5 seconds of Matt Damon's interview and then they go right into the action, but then I kind of understood. I didn't have too much of a problem with it, but the movie makes more sense when you understand what Netflix was asking for and what they were trying.
Yeah, it does. It makes sense, but I just miss very similar openings, but like Misery, and they're both by interesting. They're both by Stephen King. Is Misery. That opening is a man driving down the road. So is The Shining. They're driving to and it's like an opening sequence of them making their way. Nothing blows up. Nothing crazy happens. And it turns out that those movies are both really good. Oh.
Different time.
I guess in Misery, he goes.
Different way of watching things.
Like,
no smartphones. Just,
I know, but like, Jack, I just feel like, I don't know. Well, I'm going to be nitpicky. We don't need to talk about how we don't need explosions anymore. We can just keep going.
All right, this is where we get to the questions, and I have a lot of questions written here. I'm going to try to skip over stuff that we've already hit, and some of them we don't need to discuss too much.
And we don't even need that many questions, Jackie.
Oh, I have a lot. Why did Velez hide behind a PT Cruiser? Seems like the worst car to hide behind.
Well, Jackie, any car is a car.
It was there, but there were just other cars that probably would have been, better to hide behind. Why did the VCAT dissolution mean that nobody investigated Velez's crime scene? Because there was just so much evidence that, like, were they looking at the evidence, the physical evidence? You would think that a lot of stuff would have tied back to Roe and Nix if they actually were on the scene investigating. Very strange. Yeah. Especially since Nix and Roe are not directly in the homicide division at all. You would think that they wouldn't have a lot of influence over that. So I just have to assume that this whole VCAT thing means Miami-Dade is not able to investigate murders. Very strange. Why was Agent Byrne questioning his own brother? I mean, Tom was right there. They could have just switched Major Tom and the FBI guys. There was no reason for that to happen other than
the reason
nice
was so you could
moment.
reveal that it was his brother.
Which,
so
I know that that's the reason. It's a movie reason. It just is what it is.
Just doesn't make sense.
Nope. How would the cartel get the money out of the wall? Why did they have that little tiny opening where you pulled the cord on it? What good does that do anybody other than the movie reveal of, oh, the money's behind here? If they have to sledgehammer to get those things out anyway, why make the little thing? Is there just some cartel guy that likes making little gizmos and has a bunch of extra pulleys? Why would they do that?
Yeah, he's the trapdoor cartelman. He's like, I'm going to make you a trapdoor.
And it was that guy, who came out with the FaceTime later. He's the same guy that made the little pulley system.
Same guy who made the trapdoor, for sure.
Why would they take the cartel at face value? The cartel's like, wasn't us, sorry, and you can have the money. Why does it just end there? Why aren't we asking more questions about, it still could be the cartel? Maybe they're just trying to get you out of here? I don't know. Why would Dumas' plan put Desi at such high risk? She was just kind of tied to a chair. She was not in the garage that had the car that was kind of blocking the bullets. I feel like there was a high chance that she would have gotten shot in that situation. So I just don't understand why he put her at such a high risk of being shot.
I think it's because they literally didn't. Well, I think the projection is still the Colombian flag thing. Oh. Still the Colombian flag thing where it's like, I just realized it was. Oh,
you're
Jackie,
speaking in a weird voice.
Like I gotta stop speaking in a weird voice. It's
you're watching.
They're trying to make it so they don't care
films.
About the. They try to make it so it seems like they don't care about it because she is bad. Like they still think that she's trying to get the 20%. You know what I mean? It's like they don't care if she's fine. But most of these questions, like I have a few too, and it's like, why do anything after the reveal of the 150K call? Once Damon, as the lieutenant, knows who the bad guy is, why is there any more movie at all? Because you could just turn around and be like, I know it's you. Hi, Ben Affleck. I know it's Roe. Hey, rest of team. I know it's Roe. We should just handcuff him.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's multiple ways
they could have They could have
unfurled.
literally just ended. No, because they take the phone away from him. They handcuff him. They text the dude back. It's like, we got everything covered. You just come with the little truck. And then you call somebody else. And then you call the captain. And you're like, hey, captain, it's actually Roe who's the bad guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it clicked for them that Nix was involved. So I feel like they were still trying to follow. They were trying to use Roe to get to the bottom of, you know.
But none of it matters. No, like, you could have asked Roe later. You could have been like in an interrogation. Beyond that, they could have. Why didn't they just, if they were going to keep doing the whole plan, why not, instead of have a firefight and confrontation with them in the back of an armored car, why not let them take the bags, put the money in them, but then put trackers in it? Because then
I don't know if they had I don't know if they had trackers with them, because they just kind of showed up.
But he planned it from the beginning, Jackie. This is what I'm saying. It's like from the beginning of the movie, Damon has this planned. He has the text message in his phone. He's had it since.
Maybe he's just not good at planning stuff like that.
Another question. How come Matt Damon's character's not good at planning anything?
I mean, he did get promoted, you know, but maybe Affleck should have gotten the promotion. Maybe it's a different film if Affleck is the one in charge.
Why didn't Affleck get the promotion?
We don't know, especially since he was banging the captain who, you know, gave Dumars the promotion. I mean, it just means that she's more about, you know, who's right for the role. She's not showing favoritism.
They did say it was because of the cancer kid.
That could be.
But it's like,
was there literally only the one cartel guy watching? Who was he signaling? Why did he use English in his signaling? And why did Affleck know Morse code? That whole thing, I had a lot of questions about.
Doesn't make any sense at all, Jack. Well,
he was signaling pigs. Why didn't he signal in Spanish?
No, I totally
or why
agree
didn't
with you.
they use a different word that's not obviously code for cops? It's like the most obvious fill-in for police.
Or just have a blinking light that doesn't blink unless there are people there. Sorry. You'll beep it. Maybe just have a light that blinks, because it doesn't matter if it says anything at all. It could just be blinking. And then you could be like, oh, the light's blinking, something's wrong. There's a lot of things, Jackie.
Where were all the people and bystanders throughout the entire film? I'm not just talking about in the neighborhood, but even when they're driving, when they're shooting each other in the vehicles, when they're just all around going, there's like a startling lack of just like everyday people everywhere.
This is, Jackie, I know you don't want a real answer to this, and you're just saying that but the real answer is because it's the Netflix aesthetic. They're filming everything. I don't know what creator did this, and I should have looked it up because now I'm going to reference it. They're analyzing how our light technology has changed while our filming lights and our cameras have changed, and our cameras do so well in low light now versus back in the day, and our lighting systems are so advanced, and generally we use CGI, so we're lighting everything in a very specific way. There's no like life or shadows, and as a result of that, you also have to sort of take other things like people or extras out of the background, because if you're going to put CGI in your background or use it and buffer with AI or whatever, anything in the back can mess with it. It's like it's very stagnant. I agree with you. There's this thing where it's like everything's starting to feel clinical. There aren't extras. If there are extras, there's CGI.
The only main extras
And
that I saw were
it's-
in the Fast and the Furious scene, where there's just
right,
a lot
and they were just
going on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a budget thing, I don't think, because the budget of this movie was
No.
$100 million. So it's not like
Yeah,
they were trying to save money.
It's not a budget thing. I think it literally has to do with like efficiency of filming.
Yeah, it was probably,
and
the
fact that
filming
they-
schedule. If you had a bunch of other people, it would have just been more complicated. But I didn't really know what they were trying to do. It's like, were we to assume that all of the houses in that neighborhood each had their own Desi just kind of watching over, or were a lot of them actually vacant? Did they have cartel
Jackie,
people or normal people like Desi,
I'm not sure. I feel like there's a designated Desi, but now you're talking funny.
Do all cops have Fast and Furious hangouts? If so,
Yes.
maybe
Jackie, of
maybe
course,
think about
that's a
signing
silly
up.
question. Police officers, firefighters, they all have Fast and Furious.
They should have
hangouts.
had the
We
fire
all know
department
this.
just come in as well, have these like little rival tribes. They had
Bring
the
the whole
DEA,
gang
TNT.
in.
They should have had a few more factions, I think. Why did
Yeah,
Roe
the
feel like he
Sharks.
had to set the fire? Why was that the move?
Jackie, I didn't get that either. They're like, we got to get out of here quick. I don't know why, Jackie. I literally have no idea.
Because Nix
Why?
would have showed up anyway. What was
Either way,
Damon gonna
yeah, he's
do?
gonna
Like, carry all the cash out the other side of the house? I just
know.
don't know what the fire did other
don't
than
know.
add urgency for film's sake.
It's just like putting a timer on something. It's like, we've got 5 minutes.
And
to
it was
get
the
out of
same as the
house.
phone calls. That was another thing, and I don't know if I have this on my list here, but when the guy called and he's like, you got 10 minutes before everybody's gonna die, and then after that is when Damon goes and talks to Affleck in the house across the street. When he gets all the way back, Baptiste is like, 5 minutes ago, a guy called and said that we have 10 minutes before we're going to die. So that implies that it only took 5 minutes for Damon to go all the way to the other house, have all of the, catch up he needed to do with Affleck, come all the way back. But then it feels like the bullets started flying a lot quicker than that. So someone is not saying the right time. Either they shot it up way too early, or Baptiste doesn't know how to tell time. There was just a lot of inconsistency. After Byrne knew about Roe before Nix arrived, did they suspect Nix already? So
I
just
think they did.
the specifics of when did they actually know Nix, and why didn't they continue pulling the thread after that? Because clearly there are at least a couple of other dudes involved. I mean, it seems like there's a lot more.
I think it's a whole
that could have been there.
team. Yeah, there's this whole thing, Jackie. I think they knew when he said, or what Affleck knew when he said, "Don't call the FBI."
Yeah.
But like it, there's so many things, Jackie, that we need to question about this film. Why do they not say "rip" consistently? Why do they use so much vernacular and never explain themselves? Why?
Another one I have is,
Why did they make the movie?
Oh, well, because they just wanted to have a good time filming together again.
That's probably all it is.
I mean, I think that's mostly all it is. They just wanted to do a fun, stupid 90s action movie. So after the fire is set and they're running out there with the cash, Damon says, "We'll come back for the rest." When did they have time to do that?
They don't.
How did they get the buckets out of there in the station wagon? When did the station wagon get out of the garage, and how did they get it out of there before everything went up in flames? It seemed like that fire was already consumed everything when they're all standing outside.
It was making its way to the cache when they're sitting on.
Also, you don't see the buckets I feel like I was looking around for the buckets in that scene. I didn't see him, and I didn't see him in the car. I was trying to
They're
see
not
if
in the
they like
car.
kind of parked him in there, all sneaky like. The timing of the phone calls I already talked about. What if Baptiste and Salazar screwed up Dumar's bluff when he was like, "Hey, I'm like, let's steal the cash, okay?"
Steal the money and
What if they're just
they're
like,
like,
"Why are you
"Boss,
winking?
what are those
Why are you
hands
pointing at your
like?"
ear?" They could have totally
Stop.
screwed that up. Why was Dumars pointing his gun at Byrne right before revealing the Jackie text? The whole like shadow pointing the gun. Why was he pointing his gun at him?
I don't
It
understand
seems very
that either.
unsafe.
I was like, why would you do that?
Unless he thought he might
It's
be the
your friend.
cartel guy from behind, or like he wasn't sure it
No.
was him. But it seems
He's
like,
wearing
the
a police vest.
again, just like purely for cinematic purposes. It just seems very unsafe to point a gun at someone if you don't intend on shooting them. That's my opinion.
Pretty sure that's what they teach you when you get your gun license too.
Is this the first time that an iPhone has been used as a burner? The burner is always a flip phone.
Jackie, it could have been that Android nonsense.
It could have been an
You don't
Android,
know
but
was
it
an
did look
iPhone.
very iPhone-ish.
It did look iPhone.
Why was
I'm under the
Deo's
impression
ID
that generally
concealed at the
actors use
end?
their own phones.
I think we talked about.
They just didn't.
Yeah, that whole thing with
There must have been
Deo.
stuff
Deo was
cut
just
out.
like a character that didn't need a name. He probably could have just not.
Yeah.
You know.
He could have been Driver 1.
Yeah. Where were they going at the end? The driver didn't know. The driver had no idea where
driver
they were
didn't
going,
know.
and I had no idea. Like, what was their end game? They get the cash in the back of the car. They're all there. They say they're going to the Wells Fargo DEA bank or whatever.
Yeah,
But where were they actually going?
but they're not. Jackie, I don't know.
Like, what were they
The
trying
mind
to
of a
do?
criminal, Jackie. I think they were probably going to go to a warehouse and just kill him. That's what I think. Take the money.
Could be.
But like, it doesn't matter because the FBI was there, and we knew that it was them.
Here's one that we brought up earlier.
Try to
How
get
was
away
Roe
now.
running with the bag after he got pistol whipped in the face, shot in
No
the
shot.
ear,
Yeah.
and the bag probably weighed as
running.
much as he did, and he was carrying it like on
Him.
one shoulder.
Yeah.
What was going on with that? And then
He's a
finally,
superhuman.
my last
After
question.
so many days walking with the dead, he can carry anything. Actually, after so many seasons on The Walking Dead, he can carry an entire series on his back. There
It's
you
true.
go.
And he can take a baseball bat to the face.
Oh,
Was Jackie
Negan, no.
actually a witch?
yes.
I think clearly.
All right, let's move on.
Yep, that's it. Some like it hot. This is the
Yes,
hottest take,
She
Tyler.
was.
Hottest take.
Oh, yeah. Jackie, here's the hottest take. If you're going to put a Chekhov's gun, a real Chekhov's gun in a movie, you don't put multiple Chekhov's other things. Like in the first interview with his brother, Affleck has two guns and he makes a comment about it. He's like, that's your firearm, but whose firearm is that? And then it's like, it's Jackie's. And then he's like, well, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah, he's like, it's the Wild West.
It's like the second scene of the movie. What are you gonna do with that gun in your holster, Ben Affleck? I'm pointing at it and asking you. And then they get into this is why I knew about the phone books. They get into the what's with all these phone books? Don't point at Chekhov's gun. You just leave Chekhov's gun on the table. You don't have to point at it. You can just put it on the table because that's what it's for. You don't, and they did it multiple times. It's like the books, the gun. There's another one. It's the burner phone or something. They project that they take it too. It's like there are so many things where they're like, Oh, we're gonna use that later.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do that later. It's like, stop that.
Yeah, I think
you can do it once.
I just think that was obviously deliberate the way that they did it.
Yeah, but it's like Chekhov's multi-gun.
So your hot
multi-gun.
take is
Stop
that you
doing
should
it.
only use one Chekhov's gun.
Well, it says not every movie needs Chekhov's gun. Also, probably only do one if you're going to do it. Like, that's my problem. It's
that's
like,
kind of a light simmer. Here's a hot take for you. The cartel is good. The cartel is helpful. The cartel is doing things better than the police officers in Miami. So why not, just kind of maybe get them more involved?
They seem
I don't know.
Seem like they're doing a good
And then my other hottest take is we didn't need the cancer child. I understand that it is, part of what makes it based on a true story. Did not need the cancer child. When I saw the lock screen at first, I was like, oh no, what's at first you kind of think that the lock screen is like, number one, I thought, is he thinking I'm going to disappoint my child, or is he thinking I could use this money to do something for my child?
I thought a similar thing. I thought they were going to, Avatar didn't do this either, but the first Avatar movie, you know how he's paraplegic and then he can walk when he's in the Avatar body. I thought that it was going to be one of those things where they're using it. What do they call that? When you give a character something that they don't have, but then threaten to take it away. Like, I thought he was going to have like a bad relationship with his child or something, and then something was going to happen where the opportunity to have a good relationship was there, but then taken away. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, in Avatar, you can walk, but if you don't follow the rules, we'll take away, like we can force you to be a part of the program. It's like, I thought they were going to use his son to like make him turn or kind of as like pawn. I don't know. To just have him be dead from the beginning and then like kind of lay that on us at the end is like, why?
They kind of lightly used it as this is why he's flying off the rails. Because he's lost everything, he has nothing left to lose. That's what Nix was saying.
But like even then,
but yeah, it was a weird.
But you could have done that with like a lethal weapon. This is like I'm about to retire. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't. There's so many better ways to.
I just don't think that. I think the only reason it's shoehorned in is because of the whole based on a true story. I just don't think.
Yeah.
I just don't think it added anything. They didn't even have to have that layer of the motivation. He could have just been acting shifty. I don't think they needed to explain it. I've got you under my skin.
Let's just hope that the cop who the story's based on feels like his son was honored, and maybe that is like, I just want the memory of my son in a film or something.
And that is probably that is probably the answer, is that since the guy was involved and the film was dedicated to his son, that is kind of, it's probably more emotional for the people that are directly involved. For me, again, that's why it's in hottest take. It's like, I understand it. But, I don't think we needed it. But my real hottest take is the cartel is good. Best cameo.
My reprise hottest take is that we can cut the cartel scene, even though my brother Jackie loves it.
Oh, I think you could cut everything but that scene. I would watch that scene only over and over again, because I think it is one of the most memorable, funniest parts of that movie. That's the part that I will think of when I think of The Rip. You got a best cameo?
Let's move on. You're right. The best cameo. The only best cameo is what's his name?
Nestor Carbonell. Yeah, we talked about him earlier. He's the only like recognizable. So in a pure like cameo, like as we know what a cameo is. But what about somebody who just kind of popped in and made a splash, who maybe you didn't know from something else? Because
Well,
for me, it's
never
the
seen
VCAT
Wilbur
guy.
before. Never saw Wilbur before, but I really loved him.
That's true. Wilbur is actually the correct answer for this, but I had to give it to the VCAT guy just because his whole, what am I doing? Where am I going?
I also, his mustache was pretty fun too. We love a good mustache here.
We do. The Best Brothers. So this is the Me and My Shadow Award, and you would think that there's only one option. I think there's actually two options.
There's two options. I think so too.
Okay, good. So I think we're probably in line here that the obvious option is the actual brothers, the two Byrne bros, the FBI agent and the cop. But the Soul Brothers are JD and Dane, Affleck and Damon. They kind of end on the beach just looking at the sunrise.
Oh, Jackie, here's something where we're gonna differ. You ready? I know it's supposed to be brothers. It's supposed to be brothers. But what about sisters, Jackie?
Ooh.
What about Lolo and
This is
Numa?
unheard of.
Never once wavering in that garage, counting that, having a system. They were working together. They never once suspected one another. They never once suspected anybody else on the team. They came in, just like Wilbur, did their job, worked hard, and were the linchpin of the double cross. They're the only reason that the money got flipped. So, ultimate sisters, keeping everything under wraps, keeping a cool head, and having their hands in the money the whole movie. Best sisters.
There you go.
Best brothers.
So there's three, and then if I had to throw in a fourth option, I would say the two Hialeah cops, probably the worst example, but, they were kind of in it together.
Yeah.
So
they were good.
They get
if I
a
had to
little
add another
mention.
two, those two hanging boys on that intact dog, Jackie, those are two brothers.
Those are, present members of the film. So you got to mention it.
I love when you say members.
I know you do. So despite what you said, I think I would go with the actual brothers, especially because that fight in the interview is one of my favorite parts. So I'm going to give it to the brothers Byrne.
Well, I'm giving it to Numa and Lolo.
There you go.
Because they deserve it. They deserve 20% of that $20 million.
I respect that.
But
and here we go now. This is the big moment. Who is the chairman of the board? Who won the film for you?
There's only one answer, Jackie. There's only one answer. And he's the big man on campus. It's
You want to
Wilbur.
say it? Oh, I was just going to say, you want to say it on the count of three. But 1, 2, 3, it's Wilbur for me, too.
Wilbur. Yeah, it's Wilbur.
Wilbur is by far the winner.
Yeah.
If I had to give a more real answer, I would say Affleck and Damon, just because it's their chemistry that kind of
Wilbur is
makes
my real
this thing
answer.
work. I feel like if Affleck and Damon were not in this movie, the problems would be a lot more difficult to sift through. But I enjoyed watching this movie despite it not being a perfect film. But yes, Wilbur is the winner.
Yeah. Right, yeah, I again, Affleck, Damon, for sure. But Wilbur, it's Wilbur. The answer's Wilbur. And will forever and always be Wilbur? Hopefully.
I agree. So now we come to the point where we got to rate this thing. And we've kind of been, working on our rating system. Okay?
We used to do two brothers.
Yeah, we used to do out of two brothers.
Like one or two brothers.
But the problem is, it's like, it's hard to, there's not a lot of gray area in there.
Because I get a brother and he gets a brother. And then it's like, if we both give it a brother, it's always going to be two brothers.
Yeah, so anyway, we're going to do it out of 5 francs. Okay?
Frankly, I can't wait.
And the way that I'm approaching this is I think each franc is kind of like a Michelin star. So it's really hard. Even to get 1 is pretty good. If you get 5, it's like unbelievable. So it's got to accrue, so many stars.
It's got to accrue.
Francs, as it were.
So you think it's 1 star is like So 1 star for you, Jackie. Is that a good movie?
1 star had some positives. Okay, it's not like perfect, but it's hard to make a film. So let me tell you, People We Meet on Vacation. Just to go back to last week, if I apply our new rating system to that film, I think it gets 1 star, 1 franc for me.
Oh,
1 franc for me, and that's positive.
If you are saying that we're never gonna give a movie more than a star.
No, this one for me.
If that is
spoiler alert, this one gets 2 francs for me.
I would give it 0 stars.
You're
Jackie.
giving it no francs.
If that. Okay, I gotta be sincere with you, Jackie. This is the way that I conceptualize my 5 franc system. 1 franc is I regret watching this movie. 2 francs is I don't regret watching this movie. 3 francs is, that's pretty good. 4 francs is I'd probably watch that again. 5 francs is, we're gonna watch that a lot.
I think 4 sounds too tepid in that system.
That's why 4 is 4. Right, it is tepid.
But then
That's
everything's
going
to get 4.
3s to movies that are... Right. But then but your way, nothing's going to get beyond 2.
So if I bump mine up and what I actually have written down, People We Meet on Vacation, I have 2. This one I have 3.
I would still... I would rather jump off a skyscraper than watch this movie again. And I would definitely watch the People We Meet on Vacation again.
So what score do you give this out of 5? 0?
Out of 5? 0.
So you're a 0?
It gets 1. I regret it. I regret watching the movie. I won.
See, I think 0 is regret to me.
0.
1 is like there was something that I got.
0. No. 0 is this movie shouldn't have been made.
Well, that's what it sounds like you're saying.
0 is shouldn't be made. No. 1 means I regret watching it. It could be for somebody. It's not for me. 0 is there's nothing. 0 is Zero's Caligula if it weren't like incredibly just like
you just watched that one
and,
scene. You've only seen the one scene with the fellatio.
Well, okay. How about yeah, exactly. What if it was just the fellatio scene and not any of the other like what was considered to be groundbreaking at the time? Yeah, 0. It's not worth anything. If I watched Pokemon the first movie, I would also give that like a 1 because.
So this is the same as Pokemon.
No, actually Pokemon's better. Pokemon gets 2, this gets 1.
I'm not going to rate Pokemon right now. So you're saying you give this 1 franc. I'm going to give it 3 francs. What's your rating for People We Meet on Vacation?
3.
Okay, I gave it 2
3
francs. So our first ratings for People We Meet on Vacation, Tyler gave it 3 francs. I gave it 2 francs.
3 francs.
For The Rip, Tyler gave it 1 franc. I gave it 3 francs. So there we go. That's The Rip. Next week, we're going to look at Groundhog Day, baby.
We're going to look at Groundhog Day, baby.
And I think we're going to release the episode on Groundhog Day. Or at least, you know,
and I think we're going to
is it always the second, or is it just that,
Day.
You know, that...
at least if it's always the second, or, you know, it's that... do you get it? I'm just repeating everything you say. Kind of like...
Yeah, but, I mean,
You just...
Groundhog Day didn't just... there was more nuance to the repetition. It wasn't just, you know, going and repeating.
There was more nuance to the repetition. It wasn't just going...
Well, Tyler...
Jackie,
give your big brother a hug. Just a little hug. Just give me a hug.
I don't want to do that.
Give me a
Jackie. I'm
hug.
not going to give you a hug.
Come
You're
on.
Jackie,
Give me
you're
a hug.
bully.
Give me a
Jackie,
hug
you're
from
a
afar
bully.
remotely.
You're a bully.
Give me
Jackie,
a hug.
you're a bully. Not in front of the FBI.
Yes, in front of the FBI. Well, thanks everybody for listening to the Brother Sinatra podcast. I'm Jack Sinatra.
And I'm Tyler Sinatra.
And we're the Brothers Sinatra.
The Brothers Sinatra.
That's right. We'll clean that up. We'll get on that.
I don't know if we can.
The remote delay makes it difficult.